They say legends of gates to the stars are just myths, but what if one of them was never buried deep enough? Welcome to Cherrywood Conspiracy Files. If you love deep dives into hidden history and the stories that sit between fact and silence, click on their shield, like, share, and subscribe. It helps keep these stories alive. It began quietly. No press, no attention. Just a small convoy in the early months of 2003 rolling through the desert. While the rest of the world watched the invasion unfold on television, a detour was made away from the front lines, toward a stretch of ancient sand where something had been sleeping. The convoy carried no heavy weapons, just drilling rigs, scanning arrays, and equipment designed to find what ordinary eyes could not. Beneath their boots, beneath thousands of years of shifting sand, the ground opened into a hollow. It was not a tomb, not a ruin, a perfect circular chamber carved with precision that should not have existed in that era. The walls were black, smooth, almost glassy. The air inside the chamber was still, heavier than the desert outside. And in the center stood a ring, metallic, silent, waiting. The first pulse came the moment they breached the chamber, a sharp, clean spike on every instrument. 8.3 kilohertz, not random static, a frequency locked to the Earth itself. Every 12 minutes, the pulse returned, 20 seconds rising, 3 seconds falling, then silence. Within hours, the site went dark. Locals were removed, power lines were cut, more vehicles arrived, floodlights carved through the sand. A perimeter was built. The pulse did not stop. Within days, satellites quietly redirected their senses. Array stations turned their attention to one set of coordinates. Around the world, amateur radio operators listening on very low frequencies began to hear something new. They didn't know where it came from. They only knew it was there. The pulse matched something in the archives, a signature recorded decades earlier in a distant land. And when analysts laid the two signals on top of each other, they formed a perfect match. When they traced their points on a map, the line they created was not random. It crossed mountains, deserts, and seas. Another signal joined the first, then a third, then a fourth, all falling into rhythm with the original. 4 locations, 4 pulses, all perfectly aligned. The analysts began calling it a harmonic network. The signal behaved differently from ordinary transmissions. It moved through the planet itself, as though using the Earth as an instrument, like someone had tapped a tuning fork the size of the world. The strange thing was the direction. When the signal bounced back into the air, it wasn't scattering like ordinary radio noise. It was focusing, reflecting into a single point in deep space. The same patch of stars, over and over. As months passed, the pulse began to change. Small modulations crept into the frequency, tiny shifts that felt deliberate, like a signal trying to find its voice. On the ground, people living near the buried site began noticing things, a low hum in the air every 12 minutes, phones dying in perfect synchrony, animals avoiding entire stretches of desert. And then came the 5th pulse. It wasn't on land, it came from the Pacific, from deep beneath the ocean, a point with no known structure, no station, no archaeological site. It locked itself into the same rhythm as the others. The network wasn't static, it was growing. Inside sealed rooms, the maps changed again. Analysts described it as a chord now, not a single note. Layered, resonant, building strength. Power fluctuations rippled across civilian grids.
Low magnetic anomalies spiked around the polar regions. Then one night, a column of blue-white light rose from the far south, a flare so faint that only a handful of satellite images caught it. No explanation was offered, but from that point forward, the signal never left. It became a part of the world itself, a faint, relentless heartbeat beneath everything else. The question was no longer whether the network existed. The question was who or what had built it, and why it was waking up now. Governments listened, agencies expanded their networks, key sites were locked down, archaeological zones quietly closed, satellite imagery blurred, access denied. The world above carried on as normal, but beneath it, something older had started to stir, and someone decided to answer it.
For years, the signal was only watched, recorded, logged, never touched. But in 2004, everything changed. Someone decided to talk back. The plan was built in secrecy. 4 known sites, 1 frequency, a test. Transmitters were placed at the buried locations. The goal was simple on paper: match the frequency of the pulse, synchronize the transmissions, increase the amplitude, and listen for the reply. When the signal went live, nothing happened at first. The pulse returned as it always had, rising, falling, silent. Then the rhythm shifted. The returning wave grew louder, layering on itself, harmonic after harmonic, as though the planet itself was tuning up to join in. Operators described it as standing inside a giant bell that was beginning to ring. Satellites recorded the reflection bouncing through the ionosphere, climbing into orbit and locking on to the same patch of stars it always had. The coordinates never changed. The pulse had a destination. At the southern site, beneath the ice, everything trembled. Sensors flared. Thermal cameras showed something blooming beneath the surface like petals opening in slow motion. The buried ring vibrated without moving. A blue halo shimmered across the ice. Then the reply came. From deep space, a narrowband signal returned. Not static, a clean, deliberate ping, every 4 seconds. And in that moment, something new entered the network. A 5th pulse appeared, but not from the original 4 locations. It came from the ocean, a single, perfect signal locking into the rhythm. Power grids flickered, aircraft instruments wavered, low magnetic fields shifted. At the southern site, a column of blue light tore upward through the clouds, piercing the sky. Instruments recorded a null zone at the center of the ring, a place where every sensor fell silent for 19 seconds. Not air, not vacuum, something else. Then everything stopped. Power returned. The hum faded back to its original rhythm, and the records were locked away. The pulse continued, but no one spoke of what happened that night. In the years that followed, more listening stations came online. The pulse never stopped. It grew more complex, layered with subharmonics like language learning to form its first words. New sites quietly appeared: deep ocean, desert, mountain, all locking in to the same beat. The direction never changed. The target in the sky never moved. Researchers disappeared. Archaeological zones were sealed. Entire monitoring programs were handed over to private contractors whose names don't appear on public records. And the signal kept going. Every 12 minutes, a whisper through the bones of the earth. A constant reminder that something on the other end might be listening too. The data that did escape paints a simple picture.
a network older than the modern world, a heartbeat that links the Earth to a fixed point in the stars. And the most disturbing line of text ever leaked from the operation: all gates stable, awaiting vector shift. No one knows what that means. Maybe nothing, maybe everything. The pulse has never stopped. It rises for 20 seconds, it falls for 3, it vanishes, and then it begins again, over and over. A sound no one asked to hear, but no one can silence. Maybe the legends weren't myths after all. Maybe the gates were never closed. If you've enjoyed this Cherrywood Conspiracy File, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Tell us what you think in the comments. And the next time you feel the ground go quiet, remember, somewhere beneath your feet, the gate is still listening.
Club Awesome, for autistic children and their families, a place where everyone belongs and fun knows no age limit.
Today's sponsors are Medici Associates, Chartered Structural and Civil Engineers.
Based in the UK with a worldwide reach.
Visit their website on demediciassociates.com.
Right at Home Medway, providers of safe and trusted quality care for adults in the comfort of their own home. Whether you need companionship, medication assistance, personal care, living care or more, we've got you covered. Visit rightathome.co.uk/Medway or call them on 01634 979 000. Are you looking for a cleaning or facilities management? Clearwater Kent is your trusted local expert. From roofs and driveway cleaning to fully facilitated management, they're a fully licensed, award-winning business that you can count on. Visit clearwaterkent.co.uk or call 01634 681 885.
Need stunning video or photography for your big day or even your business? Cherrywood Production delivers award-winning results with a personal touch. From weddings to promotional content, we turn your vision into reality. Visit cherrywoodpro.com today. Your memories, our passion. Put your business in front of 30,000 new customers with the Hindsight directory. This A5 full-colour magazine is delivered by Royal Mail to Maidstone, Gravesend, Medway and Bromley, with more areas to come. Visit hindsightdirectory.co.uk.
New Digital, helping businesses build their online presence with web design, SEO, Google Ads and social media. Get 10% off when you quote Cherrywood today. Visit their website at nudigitalera.co.uk.